Hello everyone. I am going to talk about extended family as part of the social studies lesson, as well as vocabulary building for the English language. At the end of the video, you will learn who belong to the extended family and their connections and relationships to each other. Remember that families are important because it gives people a sense of belonging or a sense of grouping. So let's start. What is an extended family? Extended family is defined as a person's relatives outside of the immediate circle of his spouse or children. In my previous video, you learned that immediate family is the smallest family unit, which comprises of father, mother, and children. On the other hand, when we say extended family, it comprises of grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews. From the word itself, extended means getting longer, getting bigger. So this video gives you some basic ideas about extended family members. Let us start with the simplest family unit of Joe and Sally. Joe and Sally have children and their names are Steve and Sarah. Joe, Sally, Steve, and Sarah belong to an immediate family. After many years, Sarah marries Mark and Steve marries Maria. Maria is Steve's wife. She is the female spouse. So, Maria is the daughter-in-law of Joe and Sally because Maria is not the child of Joe and Sally. So, we call her daughter-in-law. On the other hand, Mark is the husband of Sarah. Mark is the male spouse of Sarah. Since Mark is outside the immediate family of Joe, Sally, Sarah, and Steve, Mark will be regarded as the son-in-law. So Mark is the son-in-law of Joe and Sally. Maria is the sister-in-law of Sarah. And Mark is the brother-in-law of Steve. So Maria and Mark are parts of the extended family, wherein Mark is the son-in-law and Maria is the daughter-in-law. Again, let me repeat. Steve, Sarah, Joe, and Sally are parts of the immediate family. When Steve marries Maria, Joe becomes the father-in-law of Maria and Sally becomes the mother-in-law of Maria. And Maria, since she is the female spouse of Steve, or also known as the wife, Maria becomes the daughter-in-law of Joe and Sally. How about Mark? When Sarah marries Mark, Mark becomes the husband or the male spouse of Sarah. And Mark becomes the son-in-law of Sally and Joe. Joe is the father-in-law of Mark and Sally becomes the mother-in-law of Mark. So Maria and Mark are in-laws of Joe and Sally. Maria and Mark are parts of the extended family. When Sarah and Mark becomes a family by marriage, after many years again, they form their own family and they have Ben, Sophie, and Molly as their children. Again, Sarah, Mark, Ben, Sophie, and Molly are now an immediate family. But how about Maria, Steve, Joe, and Sally? What is the connection of Sally, Joe, Steve, and Maria to Ben, Sophie, and Molly? Well, since Sarah and Steve are siblings, they are brother and sister, Steve becomes the uncle of Ben, Sophie, and Molly. Maria also is the aunt of Ben, Sophie, and Molly. Therefore, uncle and aunt are parts of extended family. How about Ben and Sophie and Molly? So Ben is the nephew of Steve because Steve is the uncle of Ben. Sophie, on the other hand, is the niece of Steve because Steve is the uncle. And since Sophie and Molly are females, Sophie and Molly are the nieces of Steve. The words niece and nephew are parts of the extended family. When Steve and Maria got married, they decided to have children. And they have Andy, Katie, and Tommy. Andy, Katie, and Tommy are siblings, and they are the children of Maria and Steve. But what is the connection of Sarah and Mark to the children of Maria and Steve? Sarah is the aunt of Andy, Katie, and Tommy. Then Mark is the uncle of Andy, Katie, and Tommy. So since Katie is a girl, a female, Katie is the niece of Sarah. And Andy, since he's a boy, he's a male. Andy is the nephew of Sarah. Andy and Tommy are boys, so they are nephews, of course plural in form, nephews of Sarah. Katie would use the word aunt for Sarah, so she would say Aunt Sarah, and for Mark it would be Uncle Mark. But of course Sarah would not say Katie is my child, but Katie is my niece. And Andy and Tommy are my nephews. What about Andy, Katie, and Tommy? What are their relationship to Ben, Sophie, and Molly? Andy, Katie, and Tommy are the cousins of Ben, Sophie, and Molly. And of course, Ben, Sophie, and Molly are the cousins of Andy, Katie, and Tommy. It means also that there are extended families in this type of family tree, and cousins are part of extended family. How about Joe and Sally? In the family tree, you can see the relationship between Andy, Katie, Tommy, Ben, Sophie, and Molly to Joe and Sally because of the lines. The line signifies that there is what we call the blood relationship between all of them. And Joe and Sally are the grandparents of the children of Maria and Steve and the children of Sarah and Mark. So Joe is the grandfather of Andy, Katie, Tommy, Ben, Sophie, and Molly, and of course Sally is their grandmother. Again, Joe and Sally are grandparents, and Ben, Sophie, Molly, Andy, Katie, Tommy are what we call grandchildren. So Joe and Sally do have 6 grandchildren. Grandchildren also can be granddaughter, grandchild can be a granddaughter, or the grandchild can be a grandson. So in the family tree, Katie, Sophie, and Molly are the granddaughters of Joe and Sally because they are female. So granddaughters. And Andy, Tommy, and Ben are the grandsons of Joe and Sally. Grandsons, granddaughters, they are grandchildren, they're all parts of extended family. Remember, extended family members are your grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews. Also remember that your extended family members, as well as your immediate family members, give you a sense of belonging. So love and care your relatives and your immediate family because you're all parts of the group. I would like to thank the photographers of Pexel for the awesome photos, as well as the band sounds, the background music of our video. Credits also to the presentation template created by the slidesgo, including the icons by the Flaticon, infographics and images by FreePic. I hope that you've learned something about the topic, and thank you for watching. If you want more videos about social studies lessons using the English language, please like and share this video, as well as subscribe to my channel. Thank you for all the support and care. Happy study time.